Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't stop.
Hey everyone, it's Marianne from the New York City Organization of Public Service to Retirees. Today is May 7th and we have a special guest with us. I'm not going to give you a little bit of an update of all the things that we're doing. That will happen as we go later into the week on Friday. Friday, we are hosting another candidate on our Friday Night Live that's been booked for a couple of weeks. So we'll update you, we'll give you a little bit of an update on that on Friday afternoon. We'll be meeting at 6 p.m. I posted those links in our Facebook page as well as in the email that went out this morning. So today, without further ado, I do want to introduce to you, many of you know her, a city councilwoman from Brooklyn. She's a supporter of the retirees. Yes, she signed a letter of support committing to helping us solve those 3 issues as retirees. And she's running for re-election in her district. So everyone, welcome Mercedes Narcisse. Hey, Councilwoman, how are you?
I am blessed and alive. I'm happy to be here with you, Marianne. I learned so much from you, being consistent, persistent.
Well, you know, I kept telling the council members, just sign on to this bill that protects us and you'll only hear from me at Christmas and Hanukkah. It'll make it simple, but at least now we know each other. I mean, you guys could probably talk mostly about our bill, and even our healthcare issues. We're not in unions. They were trying to rob us blind. They were really put over a barrel. However, they did something wrong, and we're trying to correct that. And your body, the body of the city council, is the only body that can actually protect us. So it's really important that we know that 1096 gets signed. Look, I was texting Justin Brannon this morning and I said, I'll come hold your hand and you could put in your memo to Ledge Doc and say, you support me. Don't worry. I'll be there for you. He kind of laughed at me, but I'm hoping Councilman Brannon will see the light and bring some friends and support me. So tell us about you. Tell us about your race and your district. And if I see some comments, I'll pop them up. If you see them and you want to say something, please feel free.
First, I want to say thank you, not only to you, to all the retirees that continue fighting with you and supporting you. It's not easy. I have learned very quickly after I signed that bill how you can get people upset. And I have been around for a while and as a registered nurse for over 3 decades, working in a hospital, ER, and home care. And what you talking about is nothing that you did not work for. You work for it. And I had told you that even when I did not sign the bill at the beginning, to tell you that I'm waiting, hopefully the administration will do the right thing. And to tell you honestly, I was hopeful. I was thinking about it. And so many times we spoke about it. And I said, Marianne, I believe in what you're saying. It's not, I don't believe in what you're saying. You know, the the delay, I just have to apologize for the delay, hoping, because I like to give people space to do the right thing. And all my life, that's what I do. And I'm saying to myself, if they're saying there is a place, there is a time that people are going to address the issues, that's what I was promising. But sometimes you have tendency to be like gullible a little bit, thinking that people are going to do the right thing. But that hope has collided with reality. And I realized the uncertainty of everything. And you have worked so many years. You paved the way for us. You're actually standing on your shoulder. So I had to do the right thing. I represent the 46th district. Which one of the largest district? Probably. Canarsie, Flatland, Georgetown, Bergen Beach, Mill Basin, Mill Island, Marine Park, Garrison Beach, and Shipshead Bay. I was elected in 2021 to do the people's work. And this is one part of my job. And I can tell you, when I go to the center, even though they love me, they show me a lots of love. But when it comes to the retiree bill, they were very consistent about it. And I knew I had to do the right thing. I could not go any longer and not addressing it. So thank you for your work, and thank you for your leadership, because you're consistent and persistent.
Well, and that's, we know that we had said long ago when the council wasn't paying attention to us, and we're still kind of being ignored. I think today there's probably only 14 or 15 council members on our bill. And this is a no-brainer. And we know that the council has the power to pass a bill quickly when it wants to and not when it doesn't. And we also understand that the speaker's part of that issue as well. And there's a whole bunch of political issues there. But why we counted on you very early in supporting us was because you were a nurse. You are a nurse. And because you understood that if I don't have access to healthcare, and if a doctor says to me, I need you to have this test, please go get this, or this is really important, we have to do this procedure. If I have to go through this arduous prior authorization process with 5 levels of appeals and a narrow network of doctors that may not accept this plan or won't accept it for payment, that will delay and deny my care. And you and I, both being in the medical field, know what that could do to someone. That really could mean the difference between harm and life and death. So this is why this is super critical. And for many people that don't know, the fight that I'm fighting actually benefits you. This is your healthcare. You stay on to city service to the vested period. This is your healthcare. So it's imperative that all of the council members know and understand this. While you are not in a union, some of your staffers are, but there's also other people. Any policymaker is not in a union. The decisions that are being made by some of these ill-advised union leaderships is actually will it be impacted, implemented on you. So there is a vested interest here for council members, former mayors, former deputy commissioners. These are all people, lawyers for the city. These are all people that are affected by these decisions. And this is why we keep saying borough presidents, borough president staff. This is the same thing. And so when they were doing this to us, we said to them, this is important. You have to take notice to this. And I'm still frustrated when I said 4 years ago, literally, I'm fighting this 4 years. And I said, oh, don't worry. This is city council. They're mostly women. Women are nurturers. They're going to understand this. There's almost a dozen lawyers in the city council. This no-brainer, 6 months. Democratic body. Medicare is a Democratic Party platform. And now what happened? So I just don't understand the trouble that they're just not paying attention. Did I lose you? Did you freeze, or are you still with me?
I'm with you. You freeze a little bit, but now you're back. I can see your face moving again. Oh, now you're free. Yeah. Well, I'm going to continue saying that I really appreciate your leadership, and not because I'm here with you. I always talk, after you ask me to sign the bill, I'm always talking to the staff. I say one other thing, and then we all come in agreement with it, that you are very consistent with your work and you're dedicated, and you can see the passion. Even though some passion, sometimes you feel like, oh my God, she doesn't understand that I'm with her. It's just like the boundary. And I did not run for office to balance budget on the back of people, the retiree, the people that work so hard. And many of us will depend on the same plan as well. So I'm so appreciative of what you were doing. I was never against you. I said, my bestie is your bestie. We find out, I think it's so much we find out. And he was, I always see that on Facebook. Every time you hit me, he always tell you, I trust Mercedes. And I know, because I talk to him all the time. I said, from my understanding, that decision, if it happened in court, it would be better for the retiree. That's what I was told. And I said, okay, I'm going to make sure that they work it out, because the way she's consistent, they're going to work it out where we can pass. Because they say when we pass the bill, it's not going to be the same as if the court made this decision. And it's just like emotional and things like that. And I said, let it happen. But I am so happy that we come to that understanding, that I signed the bill. And I told you I was going to sign. I said, come next year, if we don't get it resolved by next year, I was going to sign it. Didn't I tell you that?
You did. And I also want to say, even if we win, we're going back to court next week. We have court on the 15th in Albany. Even if we win in court, I'm still coming to do this bill because court will not stop what they're doing to us. Even if we win, and this is the message I have to keep repeating, the bill is important because what they're doing, I've never hidden my pension. My pension's a $35,000 pension, and I make more money than most of my retirees do. So if they're still passing these backdoor premiums on us in the form of increasing copays and deductibles, which is the city is telling us that they're not going to stop, they're not going to stop passing on us, then what's going to happen is we're going to be forced onto managed care or Medicaid because we're not going to be able to stay on Medicare. So they're going to put us on Medicare Advantage, the managed care plan, or we're going to end up having to go on to Medicaid, which is really upsetting to many retirees. The more that they pass these in, so remember what happened. 2022, January 1, 2022, they passed copays on us on the first time. It was illegal. The court stopped it. We're still fighting that battle right now. That's the second case. We still have 2 that are live. And what the court did, City of New York, and the court right now is working on us getting that refunds back, that money that they illegally charged us, which was $53 million. Now, they changed the contract, the city and the insurance company revised the contract with negotiations with the Municipal Labor Committee, again, the large unions, and they passed a $15 copay on us once again that was implemented January 1st of 2025. When they did that, people like me, for example, when I got hurt in court, I fell and I developed a frozen shoulder, which I'm sure you probably know what that is. It's extremely painful. My joint literally froze and I couldn't move my arm. Still today, and that was November 19th, I only have specific motions that I can do, and I still have a degree of loss in my shoulder. So I'm in physical therapy 3 times a week to try to break the scar tissue in my shoulder to move it. That's $15 every single time I go. So 15, 15, 15. When they went to do an x-ray, it was another 15. Now, if my doctor is attached to a hospital, it's an additional $15 facility fee. That $15 copay is now a $30 copay. Now, think about what that's doing to me. And I told you I make more than most people. So it's a frustration. And this is why we're relying on the city council that even if this organization wins its lawsuit next week, which we won't have a decision right away, but even if we win, I still need this bill passed because what the unions are doing with the mayor and labor relations is agreeing to keep putting those copays on people no longer in city service or in unions. And it's going to make going to the doctor impossible because when this was happening first time in 2022, retirees were emailing us that they couldn't afford their medicines because of the copays. I have retirees now that took part-time jobs as greeters in the stores or using food pantries because they can't afford groceries now with the rate of inflation, plus the copays. So this is why this is important to tell people, even if we win, this bill isn't going away. And this is why this is important. But I'm glad we finally have you. I'm glad you're with us. I'm glad you understand. And I appreciate your support, Councilwoman. I really do. And I know everyone here does as well.
And the threat that looming, the federal cut that looming over our head, we just have to make sure that we stay focused and you can be frustrated because what you just saying, remember, I went to nursing to care, to provide support and being in that space. What you're telling me is the truth of our lives, is the reality. And not to keep, and then I want to say thank you for your passion. And when you have the discussion, with the others, they're trying to make it seem like that's the best things to do. And for me, it's the fact that you promise something. And most folks go to, which I told them before, I don't know if you know, even I did not sign the bill, I always were in agreement. I mean, in an argument with labor and everything. And they never they never wanted to talk to me. Let's be honest.
We did. We chased you everywhere.
I will talk to you first, and then to get the information, Osaya will ask you a lot of questions, so I can ask them the questions to see where they're going with me. And as you can see, some of them are not my friend, but that's
No,
okay. I made a
it is.
decision that I think is the best decision. And I said, in the time, like, when you're running for office, people can threat you over, like, I'm not gonna help you out. But it was okay for me. Whenever I
But you
make my
got us.
decision, I
You
can
got
sleep with
us.
I can
But
sleep with my decision. That's it.
you
Because
can sleep with
right.
the decision,
Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
you have us. Like, we support. This is the thing, is like everyone says, oh, I have to have DC 37's endorsement. No, you don't. If they're endorsing stripping your health care away, yours, not just mine, yours, that's when your body should say, this isn't a good look. We're actually
Like,
telling the unions, yes, I'm a legislative body, I'm an elected councilwoman.
that's it.
Steal my
True.
health care, please. That's
Not
who was
only
that
that, too,
accent?
I was elected to represent people, not my interests, and I promised people that, and that's the reason I am, as a registered nurse working in business working, and I made that decision so people cannot threaten putting threat over my head for when I want to make the best decision for the people that elected me, and I'm
Yeah,
committed to that word that I give to people, that I'm gonna be there to represent you. And even as you can, as probably you are well aware, I have developer too that don't like me. So I'm in a circle where, like, I'm gonna make the best decision. You don't like what, because I cannot have bait and switch in my community, and that's it. You made me voted on something. You have to work. You have to follow through what I voted on. So it's very important when
it is.
people give the word. I want communities to be engaged, to be part of the process. And if we're not keeping our words, so how are people going to believe in government again? Yeah.
I agree. Thank you for that. All right, let's take a few questions because I know you got a narrow window here. So here's a question. Janice Weiss, Councilwoman Narcisse, when I met you at a concert at Marine Park, I asked you if you would support our bill. You replied, not now. What made you change your mind? I think she answered that. She
Yes, because people just like was telling me they were gonna do it, but that hope has collided with the reality. So I felt I had to do the right thing. That's all.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And says Karen Bart says, thank you for standing up for New York City retirees, dear Councilwoman Mercedes Narcisse, from your Canarsie constituents, Karen and Arthur.
Thank you. I know Karen and Arthur. We raised kids together. So you see, I didn't even know that. And that she was gonna be here.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Well, we did advertise this, so it's important to let people know that our retirees, and then of course our retirees will share it on their socials, so you'll end up getting that. This
Mhm.
is Marie Para. I would like to ask council member about the Para Respect Bill. She's one of 44 council members who have signed on to this bill. I am new to city council politics. I have a few questions. First, let me say I am a para. Well, thank you, Marie, for your service. I am all for paras getting a livable wage and more. I would like to know if the city councilwoman can tell me, as she signed on to the bill, how much the bill would cost the city.
To tell you honestly, I don't remember exact number. I don't like to give numbers because they already put they give the numbers to us, but I cannot remember it. So I can always email it back because one of the thing I promised myself, I'm not gonna give people stories. So no,
Okay.
but we're working on it, and I truly, and thank you for your service. And I was at the rally pushing and making sure that people respect para, because without the paras in the classroom, the teachers don't have time to deal with 20, 30 students. So I'm so appreciative of your work, and we're going to continue. I would not come to the rally. I spoke to you and rally with you without pushing. So I'm looking into it should not be $1 how much it's going to cost the city, but we have to make sure that when we invest in you, we invest in the future of our children, and we invest for the community to advance, because if you're getting paid, you feel happier and healthier, and things will be better. So I truly believe in uplifting you for that.
She has a follow-up question. She said, I would also like to ask her what budget this money is coming from. My union representative still told us it's not coming from the city council budget. Is that true?
It's supposed to come from the union for the negotiation things that we have the money. So, but if it has to come, whatever, sometimes they pull it back and they give us some responsibility towards some dollars somewhere else. So whatever it is that we're gonna be with you.
I think when they were talking about the numbers of this from the union side, it was looking at like $280 million, if I'm correct with my memory.
Something like that, but I rather send it to you. Let me
Okay.
see if let me see if I can find it on my text for you.
Okay. Let's see.
While we're
Helene,
there, let me see if I can find it for you. The para, how much is it? Hopefully, by the time I finish with you, I can get the exact number.
okay, cool.
Mhm.
Helene Sachs Schwartz says, thank you for supporting us. It's good to connect with you again.
Thank you. Hi.
Marie has a third question. She says, is the next steps on the para bill to have Speaker Adams take this to a vote, then send it to the mayor to pass or not pass?
Yeah, that's the goal, to get the speaker to for us to get on the floor for the vote. But if we reach majority, it will force to get to the floor. And so far, it looks good.
Yeah, I think you had like 43 members on the bill.
So it looks good. So you should be, once it's so many folks sign on the bill, it has no way out but to get on the floor.
Gotcha. Now, is that dependent upon funding, or how does that get funded?
It depends funding. There's funding involved. And then when
Okay.
there's funding involved, let me tell you, the last word is the mayor.
The last word is the mayor. So if the mayor, even if the bill
If we
passes,
pass
but
the
the
bill,
mayor,
the funding responsibility is on the mayor side. So like for instance, I passed some bill like sickle cell, and there's certain investment to be made. So the mayor, sometimes I would say he would not sign the bill. So that's mean he kind of like dancing around it. It would become law without the budget. And that may happen sometimes. But in that situation of Farah, I don't see that happening. Because if he's there's a responsibility that we have to bear, in the union have to negotiate to make sure that and then I see your union UFT is for it. So I don't see that not happening.
so there's a risk if the council passes the bill, the mayor vetoes it or doesn't do anything with, or you have to do an override, the funding, even if the bill passes, there's still a risk that the mayor wouldn't fund it?
Sometimes the funding would not come. And then if the bill is there, the mayor did not sign it. Like if he doesn't sign it and let the bill go, some certain bill he has to sign it, or he probably said, "Okay, I'm not dealing with it," so we have to come back. If he vetoes what we sign on, then we kind of come back, and that happened before, where we're
Yes.
gonna still get the majority of it, and he has to deal with it. So sometimes we force his hand.
Actually, that
Yeah.
happened with the last amendment to 12-126 in 2001, where the council overrode a Giuliani veto. But I do want to tell you that that veto was a friendly veto. It was orchestrated, and the city council overrode the veto, and that's how we have the Medicare B reimbursement that we do have today, is to the full amount of, and that was the last amendment that was done. Actually, most of those amendments were done by Mary Pinkett, and she used to be in District 35 and 28 at a period when 28 was still, I guess, in Brooklyn, not Queens, where the speaker's from.
After
Yeah, and then Mary did the last amendment to it in 2001 before retiring, and she was a union president from Local 371, DC 37, which is today held by Anthony Wells. When this happened, I called. I was like, "Do you know even your union history? Like, your union leader was a champion of retiree health benefits," because she knew as a former union president she could not do this, but as a councilwoman she could. It just defies logic that they don't know this, but. All right, let's see.
And we just did that for City Feb too. If you remember the big fight we've been having with Diana Ayala bill. So we had to, after he vetoed it, we go right back. We voted back. Ping. So that's what we can do. That's the power. Even these vetoing, if we
Gotcha.
organize enough, we override. Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
Marie, I'm hoping this is your last question because I want to get on to the others.
She's having fun saying here with you.
I know
That's
she is. She says the speaker announced the 2026 city council budget, and there was no mention of funds for the para bill. So should she be concerned about that?
We're still fighting. I would not. Yeah, can you say it's concerned when it comes to money because we're in
Yeah.
a type of negotiation? So continue doing what you're doing, getting all
Okay.
the city council member rallying, and then make sure that it passed. But for me, you don't have to convince me. I'm in.
Okay.
But
Gotcha.
get the others to continue pushing.
Okay, Janice Weiss, can you please address the building that was supposed to be an affordable housing is now going to be a homeless center on, is that Coyle Street?
Coyle
Coyle?
Street 2134. I know it. I live it. I breathe it because
This
it's
is
a
your
bit.
District 46. How did this happen? So what is this about?
What actually happened, we voted. I mean, the bill was introduced before I came in. That was by my predecessor. By the time I got elected in 20, which I got in office 2022, actually. I got elected in 21 by the time for process in January 2022. So immediately I was working on it for affordable housing. We voted on it, affordable housing. We go to the T and crossing all the T's and dot all the I to make sure to the parking space to have hundred something parking spaces available. We went to all that. And the minute that we finished the process, they were able to quote unquote developers that have the approval cannot go on with the process because it's not lucrative for his pocket, I guess. There's no money there. So they end up someone else bought it, sold to the city, and then coming back and get 40 years of contract to have a shelter built. And that I find it very disrespectful because the process we voted on it, we got the community. We could always complain as government, to tell you honestly, why people not being engaged. This is one of the reasons. That's why I'm so upset and frustrated because I went back to the speaker. I'm in a communication with the mayor because this is not acceptable. I had 28 of my colleagues to sign on a letter to say we're not going to take no bait and switch in our community, in our city. And of course, developers are fighting me back because they want, I think it's West Have, and they want to build. And then I am so happy too because all the people in our community not aware of what can take place. But unfortunately, with politics playing in between, it becomes such a hard things for me to drive because we're supposed to be, driving the bus for bait and switch, and people are talking about no shelter. We have to be sensitive. I'm a nurse, right? And if there's a need for some building to be built for to help those in needs and stuff like that, that's all for the community to decide. But the only problem I have right now is a bait and switch. We, the community voted on something. Community board 15 was very engaged from the beginning to the end. And for that to happen, for all you saw the process, they bought it, saying they don't want it anymore, sell it. So go with the city, got the 40 years contract. That's wrong. So that's what I keep on fighting. But unfortunately, like I said, there's bad politics kind of interfering with the process, calling for no shelter, and everybody have shelter around the city of New York. So now people wondering why we're not having shelter. Is not the point. It's not about shelter. It's about the fact that we voted on something, community got engaged for affordable housing. And I can be talking to you now, right now, Marion. I am a mother of four. If someone tell me they're gonna put me and my children in a shelter, I'd rather you give me a box like a 4x4, as long as I have my own keys with my little kids. So to me, I'm for housing, and I always tell people that I'm not hiding it. I am for real. I rather put a family that if you give any single woman with children to have the choice for shelter or one bedroom or even a studio, they will take the studio over. So I'm
Oh,
still
yeah.
continue fighting.
I hear you. I'm with that too. I don't like some of the families that I speak to where I live are the same way. Sometimes the entire family is displaced, and the issue that they're having is many of the shelters don't allow the husbands to stay with the wives and children. So they'll separate them, put the men in one shelter, and leave the women with the children in another shelter. And it's very concerning to them to be in a situation like that. So I understand your position.
Yeah, I tell people that. Yeah, all the
Joe
time.
GM says, behind closed doors, what are the city council members being told by the speaker and the unions to prevent them from supporting the retirees? Marion has proved to everyone that Intro 1096 is not illegal and does not prevent collective bargaining. I don't know if she could say that on here, Joe, but
I'm not gonna. But for me, everybody, all my colleagues knew where I stand for the retiree. I was one of the person that always get upset whenever it comes up because I feel like we are committed and to serve, and we can see what took place. If they retire today, is a retiree that's fighting now, and we're all gonna retire somehow. And I always make the joke: if we don't die early, you're all gonna be a retiree. So if today we're not addressing it, what's gonna happen? And I always ask key question. And once I take a position in the council, people would not come and tell me, try to bring me down to what I believe in. It takes me time. I have to process things. I have to debate it even with my own self to see what's right. I'm not a perfect person. I'm saying to people all the time, but every day I try to do my very best because what I always question myself and put myself in someone else's shoes to see exactly what I need to do. So I'm very comfortable with that, but I don't get nobody gonna tell me anything different because once they know I make up my mind, I'm done. This is what I believe in and I'm gonna do it.
So Anne says, do you have any influence on other council members to sign on? And thank you.
I will speak about the reason, and they already know because I always, from the beginning of the negotiation for you coming around, even though I would not tell you what I always tell passing by and I say, I got you. I know, I understand. But in the rooms, I'm always fighting for what I believe in, and I always made it clear. And even with the threat or whether the union are gonna support me. So, but last year, truly, I truly believe, and I was hopeful to know that it was going to be taken care of. But like I said, the hope has collided with the reality. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm really glad that that happens. But if, as to Anne's point, if you do have an opportunity to get your colleagues to sit with me and you and have coffee, I will be there in a heartbeat. So if there's one of your caucuses that you would not mind rallying, or your Brooklyn caucus, please let me know, because I would love to be there. And I know some of our constituent retirees in the Brooklyn district or any of your other caucuses. We could bring them in to see what happened. And listen, we even have transit retirees as well, TW Local 100, that they forced under Richie Davis, former president, forced his retirees into Aetna MA. And we are helping them with their litigation as well as mitigate their denials of care around the country as we speak. So they would be a good testament as well as to what's happening to them forced into this plan. And they are in your districts. Many of them are your district. Evangeline Byers is one of the biggest advocates, as an active employee in transit. She ran unsuccessfully, unfortunately, against Richie Davis. But she definitely is trying to help her retirees fight this. 2 of the 5 other unions in the in transit, actually passed, the entire union board passed amendment to their bylaws preventing management from forcing them to accept Medicare Advantage, and left it that they can have it as an option, but they cannot be forced into it. So now you already see that split, that unions are finally waking up. And they were my 2 first unions in New York City. Usually the unions that have been listening to me and having me help them are around the country. These are the first 2 New York City unions that said, no, she's right. We shouldn't be diminishing benefits for retirees. That is our future. It's a federal public health benefit. And they changed their union bylaws, Councilwoman.
That's good. You're doing amazing work, and I will never take that away from you. Even though we're just like, Mercedes, you want to stop to talk? I'm like, no, man, I got you. Because I said, oh God, she's gonna get me again.
Well, I do want you to know, John Powers just texted me and said he wants you to know that he says hello, he loves you. So
yeah, I love him too. He's the only one that knows me for a long time. Whenever you get at me, he is always saying, no, you and Marion have to be friends. Okay,
yes,
be friends.
He literally just texted me and said, make sure you tell her I say hello. I said, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another Marie question. Oops, Marie, where did that go? The mayor announced he's allocating $150 million for more teachers due to smaller class sizes. If the para bill is going to cost $280 million, will the mayor have to choose teachers over paras? That's a good question, Marie.
That's a very good question. And I'm hoping that we can balance it out, because we should not put pinning one important person to the next important person, important groups. So we're not going to pin one group against another, but we're going to have to make it work. As being part of budget and negotiation, we always try to balance things out, and we'll present our case to the mayor as well before we get public. Sometimes it's not everything that we discuss between government that we're going to come and publicize it, because we want to make sure it works before it come out. That's why we go back and forth.
And Lori echoes that without paras, teachers cannot even use the bathroom and vice versa. So you're right. That's a good question. Marie, these are really great questions. Thank you for that. Andrenia says, can you tell us of other resources or programs you have in your community for retirees or older adults?
I have so many things for retirees and older adults. All the centers that I have around me, I make sure that they all have funding to provide the services, and making sure my seniors are active, older adults are active in all throughout my community. I collaborate very well with one organization, Millennium, that give great services, and that's where I meet all your retirees. As a matter of fact, in my district, they always get at me when I go, even though they're very nice dancing with me. Before I go, what happened to the retiree bill 1096? And I'm be like, I will not. And in our office, we do workshop, we're promoting health. We partner with different health centers, with a hospital, with even the school. As a matter of fact, I just came from Mother's Day. They have the children and the mothers painting, and older grandma, most of the grandma was in the room, the older adult having fun. I love seeing that. We have many organizations in the 46 that I kept very tight, close relation, and collaborate to make sure my older adults well informed about what's going on around the city, including the retirement bill. Even though I did not sign on it, I take responsibility. Even I will tell them, explain to them why, but I will tell them, yes, you have a great leadership that's fighting for it, and they come and ask me the same question. I don't know, maybe you send them to ask me those questions too sometimes. I don't know, Marian, I never know with you. They come, they never let it alone, never let it go.
You know why? Because your healthcare, you're still a younger type person. when you are older, in your 70s and your 80s, if you have infirmities, if you're taking care of a partner who's sick, this is the one thing that you literally for life rely upon. And if it's not there, and this is what the young people don't understand, because the young people don't use their healthcare the way the older people do. And as of yet, the older people, our healthcare is the least expensive cost to the city. And so in a quick explanation to that is, you have Medicare that pays your first 80% and your supplement that pays your last 20. Now that Medicare part that pays your first 80% only costs the city about $200 a month per person, right? So $200 a month per person is the Medicare. In 1965, that Medicare premium was $3. It's not skyrocketing. Medicare is not skyrocketing. The supplemental plan in 1997 was $88 for that little 20% plan. Today it's $200. So to tell you a Medicare person is skyrocketing is false. Whoever's spreading that, like, Michael Mulgrew, Henry Garrido, Harry Nispoli, that's all misinformation. A young person, an individual active worker, an individual plan is about $1,000 a month.
That's a lot.
A family plan is $2,800 a month. I'm not skyrocketing. My people aren't skyrocketing anything, but they chose, we have Michael Mulgrew on a video saying in 22, hey, the city said if we give them back that 20% plan, they'll give us that money for our welfare fund. And he did. And if it wasn't for this organization, that wouldn't have stopped. But to go back to Andrenia, she has a really good question. Is there somewhere she can sign up to like a newsletter or something on your your district site or something where she could access whatever resources you'd have for her?
Tell her that she should call our office directly. Tell her I'm not playing with her.
Well, you
So,
just
no, we call that's why we have the newsletters that go out on a regular basis. So I encourage people to sign on because we do a lot of program for our retiree, because one of the things that I focus on is preventive care. And when I tell people it's cost effective, and then that's what we maintain, active older center, I call it. And then we go to the park as well. We do activity, and I'm encouraging that to continue. And for Andrina, anything you need from our newsletters or for whatever the program, if you have an idea, that I'm willing to listen, because you the older adult, and if you feel like you don't have enough, we have so many things going in our district. But if you feel like you
Okay.
want to add something else, because we have yoga in the outside, we have Zumba on the outside. So if you don't want to go to a center, you still can go to the open field. By the way, we have one of the largest park in Brooklyn, in my district. We have Marine Park, and we have Canarsie Parks, and so many parks in between. And we have Canarsie Pier, where the older adult go fishing. I go kayaking with my older adults. I love to have fun. If you check my Facebook and stuff, I'm always active on that. And coming back, I see Marie. Marie's so active in asking question, and for the money usually goes from the general fund and your bargaining folks. I don't know if I mentioned that, your union have to come and collaborate with us and making sure that we get the money for the para. But we're not gonna pin one profession to the next profession, because you both important for the school structure. And I don't know, if you follow my money, you can see how I love schools. All my money go to school building, libraries, technology. Yes, seriously, I love schools because that's where we can structure our children. I raised four, and I know it was imperative for me to be in that space to uplift my professional folks that giving, that educating my children, that supporting my children in the school building.
So Ellen says, thanks for supporting our pending legislation to protect our traditional Medicare and Medigap plan that we were promised by New York City. Can you reach out to your fellow city council members to persuade them to sign on?
One of the things, probably the way I'm talking now, you probably think that's the way I move. So when I believe in something, I do something, and I sign on the bill, and I want that bill to, I will be engaged, very engaging, very engaging. I engage with folks. I love to have conversation, to listen to others, and then to tell you why I did what I had to do, because we promise. When you make a promise, you tell people when you retire, this is what you're going to get, and then to change it. And then knowing all the things that you've been saying there, that's the truth, because I deal with food giveaways every Monday around my district. I'm on both sides, and I've seen a lot of seniors. That's why when you start talking, you see I didn't want tears to come out. That's why I have to close my eyes, because I know it's a fact. And I used to do home care, and I know how difficult it can be. And I don't want seniors to make choices between medication and going to the doctor than paying their rent, because I don't want them to be homeless either. So
I understand that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ellen, for the question. Another Janice question. Janice says, residents won in court today to not use Ford Street to build the homeless shelter. What are you doing to stop that bait and switch that you knew about in 23? What is that about?
I love that. Thank you, Janice, to ask that question. It's just like that's politics again. There was a thread that started after we approved the YOLO process in 2022. Right by 2023, less than 6 months or 7 months later, there was an email. There's no letter sent to me. I never received it directly, but there was the same format in the email. That was not a kind of general email, but I answer it anyway, because I never knew that you can vote it for something and it can be switched. Keep in mind, on 2023, I received an email saying there's going to be a shelter. Immediately, right away, I asked, what are you talking about? Because I received that email and saying that it would be a shelter, but we just approve it for housing. We spend this amount of time, and nobody knows. It was a lot of confusion. And I can understand the confusion, because the letter was kind of evading things process too. Because by the time asking the question, no one can answer. And 6 months passed, I did not hear anything. I sent another email to ask. Nobody knows what's going on. And in the meanwhile, remember the land, I mean the property was not sold to become that shelter until December 2024. Do you understand that? They send you something while we're not checking the Department of Building. There was nothing on their website but the plan for the housing. All along 2022, it was Department Building. It was still for affordable housing until December 2024. It became a change, and immediately I did not look at it for this because I keep on following it, never seen anything. I say probably there's a mistake there. So then somebody else sending the email, nobody can give me a solid answer why I receive an email saying that's going to be a shelter while we have approval for yielding process for affordable housing. No one between DHS and DSS, no one knows. No one knew anything. So December 2024, that's when the property was sold to become that shelter. And then in January of 2025, they sent me all along. They did not know 2025. They sent me a letter telling me, oh, it's the definite shelter. When I check on the building department, I realized this. I said, all along, nobody knew. So I'm very upset and frustrated, but except that there's a lot of politics playing in between. People think that because the developer apparently sent the email because he's upset, he asked me for a meeting. I say absolutely no meeting because we voted for affordable housing. And the fact that he took that email, knowing it's a government email, I have to be a responsible government level because that's what we agree on. I cannot take the email from the government side to send to the street because the developer trying to play a game with me. So if you didn't know that, Janice, let me tell you something. The same people that are running for office that playing that game with the developer, you have to know this is the honest truth. And I don't know how many ways I can explain to you. I'm a person that not coming and tell people stories. And that's the truth right now. So I'm fighting because it's a bait and switch. I had 28 of my council members sign on the letter to tell them there is no bait and switch in New York City. The developer still managed to call the council, say he's going to sue everyone, that part of it. So it was a lot of mess that he created. But unfortunately, those that playing politics don't want to stay on the same page with me. So the administration still talking to me because I'm proving there's a bait and switch and it should not happen that way. And so far, they're having conversation with me. I'm very hopeful that we can change it to what it's supposed to be because people should not be doing that. So that's
Is this like a zoning thing? Like, was it the zoning was the same? They just changed the use?
We did the ULIP process. We approved for affordable housing. Now they sold it. They said the developer did not have enough money to build the affordable housing that we approved for. So now they sold the property over twice, and then they got the contract right now for the shelter, which I totally feel like it should not be shelter. It should be affordable housing and give people a chance to have their own little apartment, then the housing.
So does just a question, because I deal in with the same thing where I live, is that they'll change zoning on us, like the commissioners will change zoning on the land, and then put whatever they want on it. Is the zoning for shelter the same zoning as affordable housing?
Yes, you can. That's why they don't have to come to us again. And by the time they were playing the game by telling me that, like, give you the warning, hide it kind of like on the side. And when you ask question, nobody knows. And Department of Building did not have it changed. It's remain affordable housing. Janice, I want you to go Department of Building to see when it's changed, because I don't want to give you information and somebody else gonna give you something else. Go on the line, you will see when it's changed. You will see how what I'm telling you is the truth.
They do this with us too. I know what you're saying. They did this with us as well. When they approved a developer, they've got 12 months to start the development, and then there's delay. They're not developing it. Then just before they're supposed to start, they revise the building plan, and they've already approved. The body proved it, and then now. But you know what we're doing? We're changing the laws of our county that they can't do that. If they're going to make a material change, you have to. That's another law, Mercedes.
That's another war I'm bringing. I know.
Okay,
that war going to be bigger than even retiree. Because
that's not just here in New York City. That's not just, I'm telling you, they do that everywhere. They're dirty developers.
And the dirty politics, the thing about that I'm dealing with, Janice, I hope you get it straight now, but you have a lot of folks that doing it and say, and I see some folks that in here should be answering the question, because I see David Schwartz is online. And David Schwartz, why don't you answer some of the questions they have?
Yeah, good question. Laura Genovese, hope you can be candid about this, but how do you feel about the fact that Speaker Adams has not only been against 1096, but blocking any hearing on our bill? People need to hear all the facts and concerns. No?
That one I cannot answer for the speaker, but I am hopeful on that one. But for me, I take my position, and I hope those, I see you have a lot of fans around here that watching. So I think one of them that's very interesting that I'm going to the struggle for the housing is on your line too, probably. So I hope they can do the right thing by Janice's question as well. But
can
coming back
meeting, you and me, can you have a meeting? Would you ask the speaker if she'd have a meeting with you and me?
We can try, but I cannot force the speaker. You know that.
No,
That's
I know you can't. It's worth an ask. I mean,
I can ask a question. Can you choose?
I
think she had a meeting with you, because when I spoke to her, she told me that she met with you once.
With Charles, a long time ago, with me and Charles.
I know that because I called to ask, because I was saying like what you were telling me make complete sense, and then that's the time she told me that she met with you.
I think she's afraid of me because I think she came with like people.
I don't think she's afraid of you. I think what I don't know, but I don't think she's afraid. She cannot be afraid, because even when you were beating on me that I didn't sign it yet, I was not afraid to talk to you.
Good. You have to know what I go through. I mean, I'm sure you do, because you go through the same thing, but this is the heavy weight on our shoulders, as you know, because you have your own heavy weights on your shoulders, giving all these questions in here. And she needs to, it's a leadership for her. I mean, she got me really upset last week when she said, as mayor, I would fix this. Well, why aren't you fixing this as speaker? Because you have the power. And I don't know if she thinks that, doesn't think that, or what, but look, Peter Vallone, speaker, a phenomenal speaker, and Mary Pinkett made every change to City Admin Code 12-126. She holds the power, and I want her to realize that. So let me know if she'd be up to it.
Okay, Mary Pinkett was a Black woman that was the first council member that made me be able to sit where I'm sitting. So
yes, and the speaker as well. Yes. So channel your inner Mary Pinkett, please tell her, and let's get this done, because I would have thought a group of women could have gotten this done because we could have, like, a long time ago. And I really think that that her legacy will be to have forced us to fight our own battles. That's not leadership. She needs to get involved in this fight, and she needs to understand that what she's, for whatever's pushing her to do this, the mayor, the union, whatever.
Try to get a meeting again, because I cannot talk about the speaker on her absence. I don't need you to. I cannot do that. No. But we can always have ask for that conversation.
That's good.
And I'll ask it, because like I did before when we were talking, I had to call her to find out. Like I said, what Marion's saying is making sense to me. So what's going on? So she said she's reading. She was talking to you.
You know how to get a hold of me. I don't know what this means. Bert says, regarding the audit you and other representatives requested of DOB, when can we expect an update? Is that for you or for me?
Well, I think for probably the same Coyle Street. I think they went over, and I don't know, whatever the situation is, they're working on to see, how the best way they can find out what's going on, because there are a lot of complaints coming in for the Coyle Street. So I'm not so sure of the full report yet, but when we do, we're going to try to share it, because whatever I get that I can share, definitely I share with with
This
the
is a hot
community.
issue in your district. So what's
It
the
is hard because you have a lot of mixers in there throwing their own thing. Like I said, they even said that I work with the developer and all that. I'm against it. I'm saying publicly, I'm trying to look for legislation. And yet I'm like, yeah, that's the truth. So that letter you see, that was an initial email that I went against right away. And Department of the, like you said, you had that experience. So you can say it again.
right?
Maybe it's not only Mercedes saying how this process works.
So
Yeah.
what's next? This guy's is asking, what's the next step then? What is the next step for this? What happens?
And it's not gonna be a meth clinic. I'm reading that right now. It's not gonna be that. As far as I'm concerned, right now I'm continue fighting it to make sure they return back to what we, the community engagement, which is the community board 15 voted on, we the council members voted on. So I want to see the affordable housing for the people. And like I said, if you ask any single woman right now with children, if they want to be in a shelter or a little 4x4 or studio, they would pick up the studio over. They would pick studio over shelter.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Let's see. I know Mercedes a long time too, so you have another fan.
Thank you.
David says, State Supreme Court Judge Lyle Frank always had it right. Promises made must be honored. Healthcare is a legal obligation. Thank you, David. We're trying.
Thank you.
Ellen Reeser, no more approvals by City Council of non-pensioner payments for parish. So what that refers to is this monies that the council will legislate isn't pensionable. So literally when they retire, they lose all of that. That's why I think a lot of their concern was that this should have been done in collective bargaining, and that's their fear, is that they're going to lose that when they do retire, which may make them not retire or delay retirement. So that's a good point, Ellen.
Thank you,
Here's
Helen.
another question regarding Coyle Street. The current negotiating you have is with the mayor or with the developers?
I don't
So
talk to the developer at all because that's the reason he was upset and sent that email publicly saying that it was like aware and trying to create confusion. But for me, it's the mayor's office I'm putting pressure on because I feel like they should have been protected. They should talk to their agencies, whoever, DHS and DSS, to see what happened and bring it back to what it's supposed to be, which is affordable housing.
Do you get the mayor to listen to you these days? Because he doesn't listen to me. Don't answer that.
I'm a person, I try to negotiate with folks and respect their space and tell you because what happened with Coyle Street, the people is right. Because we voted, we got engaged, we knew something was coming, and then they changed it totally. Developers, whatever the transaction that took place should not happen over our head because we were engaged for one process, affordable housing.
Gotcha. And then no alligators in Canarsie waters.
I don't know what that means. So
I don't know either.
Alligators.
David Schatz says he's watching you.
Very good. You're gonna do the right thing.
So because of that unapproved homeless shelter, now you understand how betrayed the retirees feel. I think she gets that.
So I hope is because we're dealing with a David Trust. Tell me, it's a good David Trust that I'm talking to.
I don't know who that is. David Schatz. David is watching you. David Schatz.
Is that my district leader? My former district leader?
I have no idea.
Okay.
David Schatz, if you are the district leader, just type back below. I'll get to that question real quick because I know she's got to go and so do I.
I'm gonna go soon. But David, thank you for watching. And I thought you were the other David, but it's so many David. So thank you for supporting and watching us and being with us. I appreciate you.
Ellen says, how about a meeting with Councilmember Narcisse, Marte, and Marianne and coffee and bagels? We could do that. I know Marte would love to do that. And you as a nurse, especially knowing home age, he's working on that No More 24 bill, which I know he could use some love on as well. Let's see.
Yes, Marte, we can have the coffee with Marianne. Now she's not gonna beat me up, and John doesn't have to actually defend me all the time. John Power has been amazing in between the two of us to get this thing
I
going.
know, I hear you. Let's see. Another Janice question. Thank you for explaining it, but how do you want to fight it? Is there a quick answer to that? Like how you probably need to do a town hall and tell them what they could do to help you with the mayor. Because I think that's like where our retirees are basically bird dogging the mayor at this point. Anywhere he's going, they're going. And they're saying to him, you're not telling us the truth. It's not up to the law department. It's up to you, which he was lying again when he was at North Shore Towers the other day. So if there's some bad actors here and you need some back, then we need to help you organize your constituents to get them to fight the mayor and tell him that he's got to stop this, or maybe go do a protest in front of the Department of Buildings or something. We could probably help you connect with some of that if there's something in your district you'd want to do. Just promise me you won't bite anybody.
I'm gonna block my face. Don't get me in trouble here, Marion. No, I don't like to bite human because I'm a nurse. So I'm gonna take
no
care
police
of
officers either.
I'm not gonna do none of that. But it can be frustrating. I can understand that the frustration from many sides, but I really, really want everyone involved, the developer, to come to an understanding, knowing that let's say for argument's sake, you bought the land, right? You knew that it was just approved for affordable housing. When you took that, you should know that the people were engaged. The people want the process to work for everyone. You could not come and plant things the way you want because you will not like it in your backyard like this. People are engaged. And that's one of the things that we have in government that we're always saying people not engaged. Now you have a group of folks engaged for a process. Right. You cannot do that. So those are the things. As far as the mayor, so far I can tell you that he listened, and I'm a person. I'm very persistent and consistent. So I'm trying to do my very best to make sure he get the message. So far, so good. We've been back and forth and trying to see where things could reverse back. So the subsidy, whatever that get involved, hopefully that we can get through this. It's a hard time for the Shipshead Bay area for that Coyle Street because they're very disappointed, and I'm disappointed as well because we voted on something that should not be happening that way. I see David Schatz come again. Hi, you're not gonna help me? We're gonna fight together
because he's not your leader. That's what you were asking. So it's a different David.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's not. Oh, devoted member. Oh, he's a devoted member of. Okay. Thank you, David. Thank you so much.
Yes, we want a town hall. So your constituents want a town hall with you. So I think that would be a great idea if you're open to that. At least that way that would be a way of solidifying your base of your people that are wanting to fight this with you. Because if you're just fighting the mayor, you're not going to be able to fight that on your own. But if you get them to be angry, that gives you some cover.
I would, but there is so many forces that a town hall right now is not going to be productive because everybody trying to drive because it's election time. They want to run for office. They're creating a lot of confusion. And then most of the folks that over there happen to be speaking Cantonese and Mandarin. And we have some folks involved that are really saying all the things that is not true. They try to put their own story, and it's not helping the people, because if we stay on one page, at least we could have pushed this agenda forward a little faster. Because I'm a great driver, but I can have everybody driving different direction. Then it creates a lot of confusion for the people. And I feel so bad. That's why I try to keep up with our newsletters, with our Facebook, with our Instagram to give people information. Yet yesterday, as a matter of fact, I had a great meeting with a few members of the same area that come out, and I give them the understanding, and I put it out everything that I have, and they say they're gonna work with it. But there's so many things going on. It's not productive right now to be yelling and screaming. And then when you say no shelter, you don't care about anybody. Like right now, you have somebody that wrote is gonna be a med clinics and stuff like that. And if it's not true, then it seems like we don't care about others, and we do care about others. We just want to know that it's a bait and switch. We fought for affordable housing, not shelter.
Understood. So we're at 7:06, and I do have to go because I have another meeting, and then I know you're 6 minutes over. So I do want to thank you for spending this time with us. We are here. We told you that before. We do support you. You are on our Retired Labor Strong .nyc page, which is our website. Mercedes' website is down below, mercedesnarcisse.com for everyone. She is running for re-election. Early voting starts June 14th to the 22nd, and then the Democratic primary is on June 24th. And yes, it is this year. So Councilwoman Mercedes Narcisse, I do want to thank you for your support, for your commitment to protecting retirees. And anytime you're welcome to come back and talk to us and speak to your constituents who obviously tonight had a myriad of issues other than our just one, our healthcare. But we do appreciate you taking this time, and my regards to your staff. I absolutely love your crew. So thank you very much. You have a great night, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marian. You're the best.
Bye, Ann.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life, you know you can't pretend. The days pass by, they've set in stone. But it's not too late now for you to change your tone.